Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's mentoring call. Curtis has joined us from Hong Kong. Thank you so much for joining us, Curtis. He's going to bring us some really great stuff. He may click in and out a little bit because, he's a long ways away from us. So take it away, Curtis. Thank you.
All right, Greta, how are you? By the way, how are you doing?
Good, good.
Awesome, awesome.
Great
So,
great to see you,
we've
Curtis.
still got the professional vacationers, Romy and Mark. They're out running around and playing, and I know you said they're going to be here next week. So this week you've just got me. I tell you what, we just need to let them know that they're going to have to step up their game if they want to be able to compete with the C squared show, the Colin and Corinna show. So we're just going to let them know.
I like that.
I do too.
You may be doTERRA dawdling around the country, but the rest of us, we're serious professionals here, and so they're going to have to come back and step up their game if they want to play in our league. So,
Absolutely.
yes, it is. It's about a little after 10 a.m. here in Hong Kong. I'm looking out at Hong Kong Harbor. In fact, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if I can show you real quick. Here's the. Gosh, I've got so many things so we can do this thing. I don't know if I can get them all coordinated.
Wow, nice.
Okay, well there you go. That's Hong Kong Harbor, and that's Hong Kong Island. I'm actually on the Kowloon side, Tsim Sha Tsui, and that's looking right out over the Sheraton and the Intercontinental Hotel out of Hong Kong Harbor. So there's the busy morning as the boats are all cranking through the harbor and stuff. So
That's awesome.
it's incredibly fun though to be here with you guys. And here's what we want to do. We talked about it briefly. Just wow, it's amazing what happens when you open all the curtains. How much brighter it gets. You got like bright face and shadow face, but that's okay. It's kind of I'm kind of a split personality. It'll just kind of reflect that. For those who are kind of listening new and you're kind of like, okay, who is this really weird person who's here? I've been in the profession for 27 years. For the first 2 years, I struggled because I wouldn't listen to leadership because I thought this was that silly thing that my grandmother did in her living room with plastic bowls that she sold to her friends to put in the refrigerator. So I figured I had to be smarter than everybody and could do it a better way. And failed miserably, was going to quit when I found a mentor who kind of grabbed me by the throat, shook me fiercely, and said, sit down, shut up, and listen and learn, or get out and go do something else. And so I sat down, I shut up, I listened, and I learned. And there were some really strong fundamental things that he taught me literally just within the first couple of weeks, that once I was prepared to listen and then do something with it, it turned everything around. And over the last 25 years, I've built very large global teams, been able to build incomes that kind of create freedoms that we all talk about. And I've also been able to, I love the profession, I love what we do so much, I've moved on to the executive side and been able to run some companies. In fact, I'm currently over here with business partners and co-founders launching a company that we're building in Greater China, and then we'll eventually do other stuff with it and grow elsewhere. And that's what I love about the profession. It's allowed me to literally travel through over 35, 40 countries around the world, build teams into those. And so when I come to you to share with you some thoughts, first of all, let me start by saying it's not because I'm the smartest guy in the world. With my own smarts, I failed. But I learned from some really, really talented people some very fundamental basic things that with their guidance and with my willingness to listen to what they had said and then do exactly what they said today, what I teach isn't from my brilliance. I just teach the things they taught me. In fact, that was what my mentor said. He said, I need you to sit down and shut up and do exactly what I say until you're making $10,000 a month. Then you can get creative and do whatever you want to do. Because we had a really blunt conversation at that point. We've been, kind of flipping and flopping a whole lot for those first couple of years. His frustration had reached its limit, and mine had as well. And he finally said, you've either got to become a student until you're qualified to be a teacher, or you just need to go do something else. And I was able to do that relatively quickly. In a matter of just a few months, 4 or 5 months, we were able to accomplish that. And at that time, I then realized I was only ever going to do what he taught me, and I was only going to teach what he taught me. So what I share isn't because I'm smart. I just finally got around smart people and actually listened. And so I just share the things that they shared with me that we have now been sharing with people around the world for over a couple of decades that work really well. And here's one of the things that we wanted to do. I talked to Corinna about it, and we talked just briefly. a lot of the things now, we've been working with this team because Romy and Mark and now Corinna and so many members of the team are really good friends now. Because people will say, well, why do you spend time each week talking to folks in a company you're not even a part of? Because it's not about being a part of a company, it's about being a part of a profession where we're all like-minded and like-spirited, and it's a profession where if you do it right, you help a lot of people, and so who would have a problem with helping people? That's just never seemed to make sense to us. So we're here simply because we've got some great friendships that we've developed with some people who really have a desire to serve and be servant leaders to their teams. And if we can help add to that, we love doing it. Just a bunch of friends. We can't do it with a million people, but there are a few select teams with great friends and companies around the world that on a weekly basis we try and touch base with and help share some ideas. So hopefully this will be of value, and particularly to those of you who are newer. And so let's speak to those who are brand new. In fact, I see a question or just a statement from someone who's new. Sarah, we're glad to have you. I'm glad you're new to this, and hopefully this will give you some value that can kind of kick you off in a good way. The challenge for many when they come to network marketing, and it was a challenge for me, it was one of the reasons I failed and flopped for a couple of years. I came from traditional business. I had I studied engineering in college, but realized I was never going to have a passion for it, so I never applied it at all. And I went into the hospitality industry, and I was able to move up into positions of management relatively quickly because I'm a psychotic 24/7 guy. I don't need to operate from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and so I moved up very quickly. And I was able to be exposed to what it was like to operate in big corporate environments, from both a line employee at first, moving up through management. At 26, I was the youngest general manager in the largest privately held hotel company in the world. So I began to learn what executive management was about. Met a lot of entrepreneurs in that industry and decided that's something I'd like to try. And by 27, I started my first business. And by 30, I'd become pretty successful at it. And so I understood the principles of business and traditional business. As a result, with a sales and marketing background, which is what my businesses were, understanding traditional business process, which I had as executive management, I was completely screwed up, just totally messed up with regard to having any opportunity to succeed at all in network marketing. That's why I failed for 2 years. Because when we come from traditional business, and in fact, the way we normally live life when we're younger is we learn, then do. We learn, then do. That's the educational system. Learn your times tables and then go do the work that gives the answers. Go to school and learn something first, then go get a job and do something second. If you have a job, learn something first, then go do it second. In network marketing, if you choose to do it that way, you will fail. Instead, you need to be learning as you do. And what happens is, it's because it's the most natural form of human behavior, and it's the most natural form of human learning process, because it's how children learn to walk and it's how they learn to talk. It's how human beings know how to go from infants to adults. It's just what happens. A child doesn't sit there and remain mute and silent for 15 years, listening intently to everyone around them speaking fluently, and then on their 15th birthday, utter their first sound speaking fluently. They just start cooing and oohing and eyeing and babbling and making random noise until one day, a few months in, they form the first word, mama, da, or whatever it is. And then by 1.5, they're speaking a little bit, and by 2, they're speaking more, and by 5, you can't get them to shut up. It was just a process. They engaged. How does a child learn to walk? They don't sit there, just sitting up and doing nothing and watching intently and taking notes with people who walk naturally, and then on their 15th birthday stand up and off they go. They just engage in a process of momentum. Well, network marketing is actually done properly is the exact same thing. The challenge is, since we enter network marketing already as adults, we've already been programmed to think things differently, because the things we did instinctively as a child, as part of a family, we instead revert to typically our educational patterns that have been imposed upon us, rather than our instinctive behavioral patterns that we grew up with. And what I learned from my mentors was, network marketing done properly is in perfect alignment with human behavior and should be operated that way. So when I have new people join all the time, they'll say, well, I need to know everything about the product before I can speak to somebody about it. Or I need to know everything about the business before I can do anything about it. And let me just say this clearly, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. If that's your approach, you're going to fail. Period. And so we just don't need to discuss it any further. If you decided that's just who I am, well, that's okay. Then you are a network marketing failure, and you're always going to be. And you're not going to be able to help other people, and you're not going to succeed. So why don't you just do this, become a customer, enjoy the products, and not choose to be a part of the profession. If you're willing to say, I'm willing to come to something and honestly and openly say, I don't have expertise, and I'm willing to learn, and I want to learn because I really want to serve others, and I want to serve my family, and I want to give great value to them. So, okay, fine. I want to learn the profession, I want to understand the profession, then what do I do first? Then what you do is you engage with enthusiasm instantly. And here's the way it works. In network marketing, it's about teams. So therefore, you have to understand that on the day you first enroll, you are already a product expert. You are already a compensation plan expert. You are already an expert in your company. Because instead of trying to figure it out and learn it, if you would just stop and look to your team and say, who is the best product expert on the team? What's their phone number? Who is the best compensation plan expert on the team? What's their phone number? Who is the best company story explanation person? What's their phone number? Because I learned very early on from my mentor, he said, Curtis, an expert is not the person who knows the information. An expert is the person who has the phone number to the person who knows the information. You're an instant expert. So I happen to be an instant expert in particle physics. Why? I happen to have a cousin whose best friend is a professor in particle physics. Therefore, I'm an expert because I have his phone number. And if you'll take that approach to it, then the question becomes, then on day one, what do I need to be an expert in? Things that you already are by the age of 18. That's natural human behavior. By the age of 18, there's a couple of things that you're already really great at. One, having conversations with people. You may not be good at giving presentations to people. That's a professional skill. That's a sales skill. To present information in such a way that you compel people emotionally and you influence their direction so that they will make a decision that you want them to make, that's a professional skill, and that takes years to develop. And 99.9999% of the planet by the age of 18 have no ability to do that. There are some natural salespeople who by 18 can do that, but most people can't, and most people despise sales and despise being sold, and they despise feel like they're selling somebody else, so stop it. But you can have conversations. By the age of 18, we've already learned through our friends, through our family, how to engage with people and how to truly love them, enjoy them, like them, whatever it is, be attracted to them, or want to give value to them enough just to have a conversation. That's it. Just have a conversation. Just be two human beings and just connect and have a conversation and see, hey, here's who I am. Here's what's going on in my life. Who are you and what's going on in your life? And just have a conversation. That's all learned to do, and so there's a whole set of education that we have done through this last year and a half with the team here at Romiz Rockstars about the fact that the greatest network marketers are masters of conversation. They're not masters of presentation. The reason that people say I want to learn everything about everything before I talk to anybody is you think it's about you, and it's not. And that's a whole different training. And there are so many of them we've done, some over the past few months. They're easily accessible, or you can go back through the archives, or go back through the archives, decide that they're so long ago, they're too hard to find, let me know, and we'll just do them again. Like I said, we're probably at a point now, after a year and a half, that we've probably covered just about everything there is to cover, and probably some of it would beat like a dead horse, and what we probably ought to do is go back to the beginning, start over. This is one of those beginning things. But do that. Go back and learn that if you want to go into high-speed action on day one, stop wasting time learning about the product and learning about the business model, because you have team members that are good at that. How should you become an expert in the products and the business model? Listen to the team experts talk to your people about the product and business model until you've heard it so many times that suddenly you could spit it out in your sleep. That's how children learn to speak a language. They are in the presence of people speaking for so long, suddenly they speak. That's network marketing. So don't waste time, because here's the problem. Everybody does what you do. And if you say, I have to stop and do nothing until I learn and then I'll do something, then everyone who follows you will stop and do nothing because they have to learn before they can start to do something, and your entire team will eventually die, because most people don't have the courage to stick with something that long, to go through the brutal path. Instead, why don't you go through the fun, exciting, enjoyable, laughing? It actually creates laughter and enjoyment and a thrill, and creates fun in your life. It's not the old horrific, gee, oh my gosh, I've got to sit in class for an entire year before I can actually learn this subject. Oh my God, how boring it is. Get a gun and shoot me in the head. This is supposed to be fun and exciting. And how's it fun and exciting? Engage in conversation and then redirect people to experts. Watch, listen, and learn what the experts do, and learn by watching the experts in action. Don't try to become the expert and then go into action. Go into action and become an expert by watching the experts once in action. But let me tell you where you can really contribute great value. That is the second thing that the most greatly successful people in network marketing are outstanding at. They're outstanding at telling stories, theirs and the stories of others. And let me tell you what, if you want to go in, if there's something you want to do before you get going and you want to do it well, it's not that you wait before you get going. You need to begin your conversations immediately and turning people towards your experts. And again, other trainings will teach you that, and we can do more of them in the future, so I don't want to do that here. I want to talk about storytelling here. What you need to do is you need to get a journal, and you need to be a storytelling documenter, a story documentation specialist right now. In every single moment that you can, when you're on these hangouts or webinars and you hear a story from someone, if you're on one of the other training environments for the Romiz Rockstar team, if you're on a conference call and you hear a story, then you need to get a hold of anybody and everybody you can and say, I really want to speak to that person. I'd really like to reach out to them. I won't bother them but for just a few minutes. Because you need to say, Colin, hi, my name's Curtis. I don't mean to bother you, but I'm a part of the doTERRA Romiz Rockstar team with you, and I'm calling because I heard you on the call, and your story so touched me. I'd really like to hear your story. I think I may have missed part. Could you share your story with me again? Because it really made a difference in me. And get the story. And what I mean by that is we're going to talk about how to frame a story, but there's some things you want to get. Who are you? Where are you from? What is your background? What was your occupational background? What have you done? What do you do? What did you do? What were if it's about the business, what were the difficulties that you faced in what you'd done before that you believe this business helped you overcome? And hear the story and jot it down. And really, seriously, take detailed notes like you're gone to class in college and you're taking notes. If it's about a product, what's your name and where are you from, and occupationally, what was your background, but what was your circumstance? What were the situations that you were facing? What were the conditions that you faced again? And really, what did that do for you? What did that cause in your life that you were struggling with? And when you started using these products, then what exactly happened for you? And jot it down. And if you became a professional story gatherer, and as you began to gain your own experience with the product and with the business, if you understood how to frame your story, how to properly create your story, you could become an immediate contributor to the success of the team and to your own success, while you may not yet actually be able to explain the products or the business model. So let's do that. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to craft your story, the network marketing, how to tell a story in network marketing. See, we've all seen these testimonial opportunities, and they are wonderful. They're on conference calls, they're in live meetings. You may have a local meeting in your area, a Tuesday meeting, a Thursday meeting, a Saturday, a Saturday morning training call, whatever it is. You can become a contributor immediately if you learn how to frame your story, both from a business standpoint if you're brand new, as well as a product standpoint if you're relatively brand new. Because what makes network marketing successful are the stories that people connect to, not the facts that we tell them. The stories move their heart to go into action. The facts tell their head that it's okay to let their heart lead. And so that's why the old saying, stories sell, facts tell. People think they have to know the facts. The reason you think you have to know the facts is you don't want to look stupid. You want to look informed. Well, first of all, it's not about you. Stop being so self-centered and so conceited. Stop being so arrogant. Stop being so traditional business. Get over yourself. It's not about you. It's about them. And you go back to the trainings we've done about learning how to have conversation. It's not about you. It's about them. And it's about truly wanting to serve them. then get over yourself. It's not about you. You don't have to look smart or cool. You need to look connected, and you need to connect with them. And then you need to be able to share stories, because stories can allow someone else to connect with a possibility that then makes them want to know more, so then you can connect with the experts and get out of the way, because it's not about you, and watch the experts share things in such a way that you become an expert by immersion in the environment. But the key is, can you share a story properly? And what I mean by that, your story is your story, and you'll always get it right because it's your story. But how you tell it can create success or failure around you. We've all seen it, the person who's asked to give a testimonial about the business or about the product, and they're handed a microphone, and all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, the whole room is looking for, where's the next fire alarm we can pull? Somebody cut the power to the building. Let's get out of here before we really just literally jump out the window. Good Lord, somebody ripped the microphone out of their hands. It was supposed to be a quick communication of something that emotionally we can connect to, not a doctoral thesis dissertation or an oratory on the State of the Union. So please understand that the purpose of stories is to create a result, and I want you to listen carefully. Truly professionally and properly crafted stories are told in 60 seconds or less. 90 seconds if it's really, really extraordinary and there's something uniquely special you have to share. And if it's over 2 minutes, somebody should get a gun and shoot you in the head. So stop it. Don't do that. Okay? Quit it. And so I'm going to show you how to craft a story, and then you can practice these things. Now, I tell you what, there is a time when your story should probably take 30 or 45 minutes. That's a time when you have reached a level of excellence, and beyond your story, you have a great deal of expertise, and you are doing the Saturday training, and because you are the focal trainer, then your story needs to be in depth. You don't tell it all at once. You weave it. You interweave your story throughout your 2 or 3 hour Saturday morning training. That's different. And if you think you're capable of doing that, then that's great, because this part isn't for you, because you learned how to craft your 60-second story years ago. But when you're getting started, if you learn how to craft 60 to 90-second stories, you not only can move your business so rapidly, and if you become a collector of stories and a documenter of stories and learn how to craft what they told you over the 20 or 30-minute conversation into a 60-second story. Well, let me tell you about a woman that I met 2 weeks ago. Her name's Corinna, and you took that 20-minute conversation and you crafted it through your notes into a perfectly accurate 60-second story. If you learn how to do that, you'll become a monster powerhouse, and you really will. You'll become massively successful over time. And so let's do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a screen share, because I set something up, and I'm going to show you guys how to, as soon as I can find it, there it is. I'm going to teach you guys how to craft a network marketing story. So, story outline. Now, you can see why I probably also should have been a doctor. I can't write for crud. But anyway, there we go. Network marketing story outline. So let me share with you how we do this. And let me show you how to break it down. There are two types of stories. There's the business story or the opportunity story. And there's the product story. Okay? And there are similarities in both. First of all, they all start off the same way. In both cases, one, here's my name and where I'm from. Okay, so that's the same. Item number one is the same as over here. Hi, my name is Curtis, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. There you go. We're about 2 seconds into the story, so you don't need to waste a lot of time. Your name, so that you're a human being, and where you're from, so that somebody can say, "Oh, wow, I have relatives from Texas," or my cousin's from Texas, or "Oh, I used to live in Dallas." It's a connector. It's a connection point. You're becoming from someone who stood up to do something at the meeting or brought in on the call that nobody has a clue about, and you're becoming human. It's the whole purpose of the story, to humanize what we're doing. Name and where I'm from just takes a couple of seconds. 2, your background, occupation, what you do or what you did, your circumstance, if you will, from that kind of a perspective. Hi, my name's Curtis. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and over the last 23 years, I've been a real estate professional, starting as a real estate agent in my early career, for the last 15 years, a real estate broker. Boom. About 7 seconds into it, and I'm done. What I've done is I've established who I am, where I'm from, and what I've done. Why? If you're a collector of stories, one day you will have stories collected of doctors and lawyers and financial planners and university professors and people who never finished formal education, and truck drivers and ditch diggers and manual laborers and recent divorced single mom parents, and all, you will have this rainbow of stories. Why? Because when you then engage in conversation with someone and you learn about them, which should be the first thing. So, it's great to meet you, Colin. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What have you done in the past? Why? Because now I can shift into my mind, not only my story, because my story is mine, and if you're a single mom and I'm a university professor, I still have to tell you my story, but I'm immediately going to shift through my mind, because I'm a story documenter, to all the stories of all the people that I know you're going to be able to relate to. Because, you were you were a dental assistant, but then, for whatever reason, the circumstances occurred, and here's what you're dealing with. And I can reach back into my stories of all the dental assistants and all the single moms and all the other. In other words, that's why I'm a story documenter. Because when I then focus on you, I know that I've got all these things that I can share with you. So, what is the background? What's your occupation? What are your circumstances? Or where were you at some point? And 3, about that, what were the likes? Because it doesn't mean that, and what were the dislikes. Now, let me tell you what the story is here for, because what generally motivated people to make a change were their dislikes. So here are my dislikes. Boom, 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 boom. Hi, my name's Curtis. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and over the last 23 years, I've been a real estate professional, starting as an agent, as a broker for the last 15, and I suppose that I enjoyed the opportunity of being entrepreneurial and thinking I had control of my life, but the reality was I found out that I didn't, because I had so much responsibility to others and then to employees that I found that my life wasn't my own. I was working 80 or 90 hours a week to have the lifestyle I did. I didn't have the ability to attend all the special things that I wanted to with my kids, and I realized we were living to work, that my wife and I didn't have the relationship we wanted. And most importantly, I realized I was only as good as the last sale made by me or one of my agents, and if it didn't continue, I had no ongoing residual income. There you go. I'm about 20 seconds into the story, and I've laid out something that everybody else can connect with. Now, there don't have to be likes. Hi, my name is Curtis, and if there really wasn't anything that you liked so much about what you did, but you did it because it's what allowed you to survive. See, gang, that's what most people do. Even if someone is an educated professional or someone who never finished formal education, most people end up in places where they're doing what they're doing to pay the mortgage or to put the food on the table. And that's it. They don't really like it. They've gotten to a point where it's not something that inspires them. It's not something that some do. Hi, I've been for the last 23 years, I've been a high school teacher, and it is something that fills my spirit with a love and a passion, being able to help shape the minds of youth. The challenge is that I'm not able to provide for my family, because unfortunately in our country, the educational system and the compensation system doesn't allow me to give my family what I'd like to be able to give them. And so there's my dislike, but I have a passion. So it's not that I hate what I do. I want to do it till the day I drop. I just want to do it being able to also give my family what I want. And so I came here because I saw a way that while I was a teacher, I could do something else and create a residual income that could change our financial future while I could still fulfill my passion and shape mine. So you don't have to always go out with the, gee, I hated what I did. But everybody typically finds something about where their circumstance is that has created this huge disconnect between the limitless dreams of immortality and wealth that they had when they were 16 and the reality of life that they're facing when they're sometimes 25 in today's world, or 30 or 35 or 40 or whatever it is. And so this is the key. Why? These are all connectors, because this is the human condition. Why do I need to learn how to craft my story quickly and effectively? I'm not there to take, because the key here is not that they hear my story exclusively all night long. It's that they have an opportunity to hear 10 stories rapid fire quickly, because there are professionals in the room, and there are those who never finished formal education, and there are single moms, and there are school teachers. There's every imaginable person sitting in that room. And in that room, it's physically at the local meeting on the week, during Tuesdays and Thursdays or whatever, or it's physically on that conference call that's in the conference call room or on the webinar room or the hangout room. There are people with all these types of backgrounds, and you need to connect with them. You need to let them know, because you're telling that you're doing this first 15 to 20 seconds so that you become a true human being, or it's somebody that's dear to them. They know it's their mother, it's their sister, it's their father, it's their uncle, it's their their son, their daughter, whatever it is. They're hearing something that immediately they go, wow, that's me, or I know someone close to me, that's who it is. And all of a sudden, the wall of resistance comes down and the human connection and attraction comes up. And we don't want you to take 4.5 hours to do it. Get it done in 15 to 20 seconds. So the same thing happens here. With a product, you still want to do the same thing. Number two, you want to do your background. This is what allows them to say, oh, someone who's done what I've done and is similar to me is doing this, that's great. The difference over here is here was my situation, my product situation or my physical situation. So here, hi, my name is Curtis Broome. For the last 23 years, I've been a real estate professional. The first 10 as an agent, last 15 as a broker. But over the last 23 years, I've also developed certain conditions. I found that I was beginning to develop chronic pain syndromes or variety or whatever it was. Because now you're talking about your circumstance here, and so here's my situation, and here were the problems or the challenges that it created for me. Here were the things the issues I was dealing with. So I've still got the same thing. They can connect with me because they're, oh, that's similar to me. Here's my situation. Ooh, that's me, or I know someone, or my brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever it is. I'm connecting. The whole point is that in 15 to 20 seconds, I've created connection. Boom, and I'm right here. Here's number 4 on both of these, and here's what it is. And then when I was introduced to this business, when I was introduced to this product, here's what happened for me. And what you want to do is you want to be able to know and jot down, you want to basically look at 4 things that it has done for you, okay, that are positive. And then I'm going to talk to you about how could I craft a story like this when I've only been involved a week. Well, first of all, if you've been involved a week with this team, if you properly studied these trainings, or if the person who introduced you properly got you started with the Romiz Rockstar doTERRA team, and you were taught in your first hour the hot market system, and if you followed it exactly as you were taught, and if you did exactly what you're supposed to do, in your first week, you have moved a massive amount of product. You have a massive amount of people that you love and care about the most, not signing up in the business, but using the product for your benefit and for theirs with a massively happy, pleasant experience, open mind. So you have a great story either for product or for business. That's why we teach the hot market system. It allows someone in their first 7 to 10 days to have a monster story either way, even though you're brand new. No, in the business of 7 to 10 days, are you making a lot of money? Absolutely not. You have this wealthy, I changed my life, I've got a residual. No, you don't. But do you have a story that can be powerfully important in the business? Yes, you do. And we'll show you how to craft that. But here's what you do. You state the first 3 things: my name, where I'm from, my background, here are my likes or dislikes, or my difficulties or challenges with the situation I was in. And when I was introduced to this product, here's what happened. I was specifically introduced to this product and this product because we've got 43 products or 13 products or whatever it is, but I was introduced to this one, this one, and this one, or this one here, and here's what it did for me. What was it? Oh, boom, 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 boom. And you just take a look. What are those positive things that happen? And what you want to do is a positive thing number 1, number 2, number 3, and most importantly, and so you pick the biggest and most important, powerful thing that it positively affected you with, and you say, but most importantly, here, if you're new and you're doing a business testimonial and you don't have this huge history of success yet, but most importantly, what I've realized in with just the simple, just small getting started successes I've had in my first 7 days, what I've realized is I can clearly now see that this absolutely is a business model and a team that is going to allow me in the next year and 2 years, I know that I'm going to be able to do this, 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 and this. So it's my positive outlook, whereas 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I was living in a state of pseudo constant depression and just accepting my life as it was and figuring that's the way it was going to have to be. So if you're brand new in the business, well, and I was introduced to this business, they first taught me this system called the hot market system, and I was able in literally 3 short days with only about 3 or 4 hours of either via text or via phone call effort, I was able to accomplish this, which makes me realize that if I just share this with others, I'm easily going to be able to create an environment that gives me this, this, and this. I'm easily going to be able to create an environment where I can suddenly gain greater financial result, which will give me the time freedom, which I know is going to give me the time freedom to spend more time with my kids, have a greater rest of my life, and I can now immediately see how I'm going to be able to create that residual income. My gosh, if the results I've just created in my first 7 days, I can see all of this. Thank you very much. Boom. So that's the last 40 seconds is right here. 15 to 20, I've done this and laid this out. You know, maybe 25 if you want to stretch it a little bit long. And the last 35 to 40 seconds is right here. And okay, hi, my name's Curtis, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. Last 23 years, I've been a real estate professional. First 10 really as an agent, and last 15 as a broker with my own brokerage group. And I'll tell you what, I enjoyed being an entrepreneur, but I realized, you know, the larger my brokerage got, the more it consumed me. I was working 80 hours a week to have the lifestyle I had. I never saw my kids, special events. My wife and I couldn't have the lifestyle, the personal connected relationship we wanted, and I had no residual income. I was only as good as the last sale. And when I was introduced to this business, I mean, just in the first week following the hot market system, I had such amazing success just with those I loved the most being so excited to try the product for me and with me that I suddenly instantly saw what was possible and that everything they were teaching, they've taught here is possible. And now over the last year, what I've done is I've started building a team that really is. It's growing to the point that I am now supplementing my income. I do see that I'm going to be able to grow a business where I have the time freedom to be at all my kids' events. Not there yet, but I'm on my way. My wife and I have a great relationship because we're excited about where we're going, and I can see that my residual income is growing. And I know it's going to replace what I'm doing, so I'm going to have the freedom that I deserve. Thank you very much. I think you ought to really join this with us. Boom, I'm done. 60 seconds, I hit it. If I'm someone who's been here for 5 years and I've become a blue diamond, and here's what happened. When I was first introduced to the business, I was completely skeptical. I didn't believe it was possible to ever make more than $2,000 or $3,000 a month. But as I began to follow exactly the processes that the team and the leadership laid out, and I finally decided to do it at least with an open mind and see what happened, in the last 4 years, you know, our life has changed. We've now been able to build a team, one person at a time, one group at a time, and we have time freedom. You know, Mark and I are now able to travel and do what we want, but we do so while we also help our team. We have a residual income that is so much larger that you know, Mark's retired, we've all retired, and we've now become full-time life changers. That's what we do, and we now see that we're going to be able to spend time with our kids and grandkids like we never dreamed possible. It really is possible, and it's great to have you here tonight. Boom. It's all it takes is about 30 minutes to 1 hour of preparation effort. And understand your story will change. As your product experiences evolve, your 1, 2, 3, 4s on product will evolve in item 4. Your challenges that you faced when you began will always be the same because that's your written history. But the current history of with regard to your product, what are my 1, 2, 3, 4 most importantly? You know, hi, my name's Curtis. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Last 23 years, I've been a real estate professional. First 10 as an agent, last 15 as a broker. But though my professional life, you know, had given me a great lifestyle, and now the business has been helping me change that. What really attracted me most at first is because I had some real physical situations. I was dealing with growing chronic pain situations and more of a rheumatoid arthritis and evolving kind of a situation, and I had constant pain in my knees and ankles. In real estate, that's tough. And when I was first introduced to product X and Y, I was completely skeptical, but I started to take them, and within literally my first 12 to 14 days, here's what happened. And what's happened since is I've now experienced 2 or 3 other products that now this condition has worked better, this one better, and I haven't had pain in my knees and ankles for over 2 years or for over 6 months or whatever it may be. These products have truly changed my life and now so many of my family's life because they saw what happened with me. Thank you very much. Boom. And that, so you can see, crafting a story, and here's what, if you look at this, because please understand, everything we do in network marketing done properly is to serve someone else. So stop grabbing a microphone for 45 minutes or 2 minutes, 60 seconds. If there was really something mind-blowingly extraordinary, the 90-second story is allowable because it's that mind-blowing part that you really want to expand on a little bit. But if it's over 90 seconds, what you are doing a disservice. You are not serving, you are hurting. Because the key is not that there is one story that changes the world, because as great as your story is, it doesn't. is that you are a part of a gathering of stories, that the collective power of all of them together, of which you are a very important part, but not the whole purpose. That's where the power is. And if you look at this simple layout of a story, outline, and structure, naming where I'm from so that I've become a person because, oh, I'm from there, or they're a hometown boy or girl, or okay, that's great. Here's my background, okay? Maybe they can't relate to it, but others can. Or maybe they have a friend or a relative who has a similar background. Now they're more connected. Here is my likes or dislikes with the background from a business standpoint, but particularly the dislikes because they're the same dislikes anybody in that environment has. Here's my situation or my physical condition. Well, great, I am like that, or I have people in my family who are like that, and here are the challenges created. Yes, you're exactly right. I understand that, being diabetic or being, arthritic or being whatever it may have been. Those are the same challenges that my sister faces, or my mother faces, or my friend, or whatever. And since I was introduced to the business, here's what has happened to me. And I'm only been involved for 2 weeks. Here's what's happened to me, and I've only been around for 6 months. Here's what happens to me because over the last 3 years I've really committed and focused, and here's how it's changed my life. Those are the things that people then can go, oh my gosh, those are the things I would like to experience. Or since I was introduced to this product, here are the things that it has alleviated and the ways it's improved. I've got more energy. I was 75 pounds overweight, and by getting on this and this, it almost immediately gave me higher levels of energy, but it also immediately reduced my cravings. And then as a result, I was able to lose 7 pounds in the first 2 weeks. Now, it's not record setting, it's not record breaking, but over the last 12 months, I've dropped 52 pounds, and my knees and ankles haven't hurt, and my life has changed. And because of that, so many of my family who are also overweight, they've adopted this lifestyle, and it's changing their life as well. Boom. It's just bam, 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 and bam. And so here's what you do. Take an hour, because the first 3 should take you 5 minutes. You know who you are, where you're from, and what you've done. You know what your circumstance is, or the circumstances that you had that you were dealing with, the challenges from physical issues or the dislikes of where your business career was. You know those things. Just jot them down, okay? 10 minutes, you're done with that. Get those down, because that's always going to be your story. That will never change. Those will always be the circumstances that existed at the moment that you were introduced to the product or the business. So in the first 10 minutes, for the rest of your life, for the rest of your career, that will be your step 1, 2, 3 story. That will always be the same. In fact, what will be funny is all your team will laugh. You don't even have to show up. I'll do your story for you. Just let's take a picture of you. I'm going to turn it into a mask, throw it on my face, and I'll do your story. Because I've heard it so many times. I know exactly who you are, where you're from, what you've done before, and what you hated about your job, or what was the difficulty you faced. Which is what it should be, because your story is always your story. What are the 4 things? Those will evolve with time as your business exposure and your business experiences and your business successes evolve. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, when you're 4 years as a part of Romiz Rockstar's team, or 4 days or 4 weeks, those will evolve. But that's a natural evolution. But right now, you could craft your story. And if you'll do this, you'll become a master storyteller, because this is exactly what you want to listen for in other people's story. And if you hear a great story at an event or something, run up to them. Carry your story journal with you at all times. One of the most successful network marketers in our profession is an individual who has built a 1 million-plus person team, not once, but twice, and is currently building his 3rd 1 million-plus person team. And he's renowned because he's not the most dynamic speaker in any way whatsoever. He started his business career as a mattress salesman. But what he is he is a true connecting human being who is a master storyteller. And what's funny is he makes a point of pointing out that he's never answered a question someone's asked him about a product. He's never answered a question someone's asked him about a comp plan and how it works. How exactly does that matching, dual spinning, triple Starfleet commander bonus work? Well, I've got to tell you, it's always kind of been a little something that I was never sure I really understood. But let me tell you a story about Colin. Here's a young one. What she did is she did this, this, and this. And what happened was that bonus kicked in for her, and then it caused her to create such, she went on and did this and this. Can you tell me exactly how this one particular oil works? Well, I'm really not a science person, and I've read it a few times. I really have, but science just doesn't stick with me, so I can't really tell you exactly how it works. But let me tell you a story about Romiz. Romi's a woman, a wonderful woman, a part of our team, and she had this circumstance. Now, and she's from Dallas, and so I had a chance to meet her at a conference there, and she had this little circumstance that it created. And when she was start taking this product, she said, over the first 4 weeks, here's what happened. Because he has massive numbers of stories that he has collected in his career that he literally studies. You want to know what he studies? He studies his story journal. He does not study any of the literature on the product. He doesn't study the comp plan because he says those are facts. And I can point people at websites, at DVDs, I can point them at online videos, I can point them at brochures, I can point them at somebody else who did a training that somebody recorded. He said, I don't waste my time studying things that someone else has already done, so the expertise is there. Let them go. If you want to know that, but let me tell you stories about what these products have done. If the stories don't attract you, why would you care? And if the stories do, and you really want to know the facts, you'll be so compelled by the connection to the story, you'll be unstoppable at how aggressively you'll dig through all the facts on your own, and I don't need to waste my time doing that. You can do that yourself. Does that make sense? He found that by being a master storyteller, it made him more efficient, more effective, and it freed up more time. And the more stories he told, and the more he taught his team to become story collectors and storytellers, the more powerfully his teams grew. So there you go. That's one of the basics. So, Sarah and all the rest, if you're brand new, don't be overwhelmed that you have to know everything about everything. You don't have to know anything about anything. You really don't. You don't have to know anything about anything because there are team goals, and there are resources that are available for those things. You'll learn those things by simply being around it and naturally absorbing it like a child would learn to speak. But if you really want to become great quickly, outline your story, create a simple result. Your product story is simple. That's going to happen for you within your first couple of weeks. doTERRA's got great products. Your business story, if you follow the hot market system, you will be business story ready because of the results you created in your first 24 to 72 hours of effort over your first 7 to 10 days. And then the future vision you see of what you now realize this can do for you, because you've only been here for 10 days and you haven't actually seen it happen, but you can see that it will. That's a great story. Connecting people to somebody who just got started who says, here's what happened to me in just a few days, and that story alone, they go, wow, and then just relating to them that you see a vision of how you are going to get everything else you've ever dreamed of. That's a great story, and that's all we need. And then as you start accomplishing those things, your story evolves and it becomes even greater. So if you'll focus on the story, if you learn how to craft it, that alone is all you need to master. The rest of it you'll learn like children learn to just grow up and be, walk and talk, because being around those who walk and talk, you're going to be fun. So that's kind of what I wanted to share. That's the story outline process. Become a master storyteller, and you'll become a master success story in network marketing.
And that's my story. Do it.
That's it. That should be your story, and sticking to it.
I like that. You can talk pretty quickly too, and you've got that.
That's it. That's it. Well, here's what
practice makes perfect.
Craft your story, and seriously, craft your story, and then take a couple of hours, and you should literally do it 100 times. It should take less than 60 seconds, and you should literally do it 100 times over 120 minutes. And what will happen, because you need to be able to do it quickly and efficiently, but it needs to sound comfortable. Yeah. Hi, my name's Grossmann from Dallas, Texas. I've been a real estate, because you've done it so many times. It just needs to be comfortable. It doesn't have to be done at high speed. In fact, the difference between a high-speed version of a properly crafted story is about 50 seconds. A slow-speed version is about 65. So it's not dramatic. But I wanted to prove you can get a lot of stuff out if you just make it your pattern. And that's the story people need to hear, because it's not that in the meeting they hear your one dynamic product story. It's that in 5 minutes they hear 6 of them. Now that, or 5 minutes they hear 5 of them, that's a powerful contribution, because it was team contribution. So get in, do your part, get out, let the other team member do theirs. That's the purpose of a properly crafted story. It's not your story. It's that there are lots of stories in a short period window. That's what creates the impact.
Well, and you pointed that out with it's not about you. It's about the story and everybody's story combining together to just demonstrate more about your product and your business.
Yeah, and to give more people give people more things to connect to. That's serving them. when you're sitting, if you've got a small meeting and you've got 20 guests, you know, a little 80-person meeting that's grown in your community and there's 20 new guests, there are 20 totally different stories. You've only got time for maybe 5 or 6 product stories. You want them to be so broad, so varied and different that maybe these 6 stories allow all 20 people to connect because it's either them or someone they know, and that personal connection draws them in. You want those 6 business stories really fast because you don't want the meeting to go on for 4.5 hours. And so you want those business stories so that those 20 people might hear something in there that they connect to because it's them personally or someone they love a great deal. That's the purpose of effective storytelling. That's when you're serving, is because you're a part of that group impact, not trying to be the impact all by yourself.
Very nice. Thank
Makes
you.
sense, guys?
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Awesome. So there you go. And for those who want to know what the heck is conversation versus presentation and what the heck is hot market, well, just go back to the old stuff or over the next.
We have the archives on the Rockstar page under.
Yep.
Yeah, got them all listed. Good. Then go back, find those, look at those. We can do them again. You know, we've already done how to craft stories before. Look, you know, it's always sometimes repetition is a good thing. So.
Yes, it is.
There you go. So as it's evening in the U.S. and you guys are winding down, and it's before lunchtime in Hong Kong. Today's actually a public holiday, so it's a perfect time to do this. So I don't even know. I don't even know. You have to understand there are so many public holidays over here. I don't even know which one it is.
I was just going to ask you, what is it?
So let's take a day off on a Wednesday public holiday. It's just kind of fun.
Very nice. I like that idea.
I think it would be fun, Romy. I think it'd be fun for Romy's Rockstars to actually do some hangouts sometime, Curtis, when you and Lisa are busy and unable to join us, where we actually do a hangout on reviewing some of the stuff and crafting our story. I think that would be a fun challenge and invite some different people on. So I'm challenging some of us that are watching that have joined us before. Let's get on here and do that. I think that'd be a fun thing to do.
Listen, real role playing, and to do this, get some brand new people and actually go through the process with them. And we used to, and like I said, on Super Saturday trainings when we would all gather, we would actually do that. We'd have a 2-hour session. We'd say, look, during this next 30 minutes, I want you to craft your story. And then for the next 45 minutes, I want you to go get out in the hallway, do whatever you do, practice your story, and then we're going to come in and we're going to see how rapidly, if we've got 80 of us here, let's see how fast we can go through these stories. And you guys need to be listening and taking notes because you're about to have a story catalog that's got 80 stories. And it's going to be 1 minute, it's going to go fast. Everybody starts jotting down notes while people are flying through stories, and it goes so fast, people have such a good time. It's amazing, So.
Or for those of us who have that smartphone,
that's a great idea.
Record if you can't write notes fast enough, because
Exactly. Yeah, hit the phone and record it. So, all right, gang. Well, there you go. You guys have a great evening. I want to have a great day, and we'll see you guys again. It'll be Lisa or I, one of us next week, and we'll rock with the rock stars again.
All right. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you.
All right, gang. Take care. Yeah.